Why did you leave your last partner? She quit her job without telling me, pretended she was still working, and then decided heroin would be fun to try. It was a disaster and I'm lucky I got away from her when I did. Lack of empathy and kindness. Drop dead gorgeous, really charismatic, and great in bed. That gets you far, yet only so far. She was mentally unstable. I hated everyone in her family. Every single person. Uncontrolled alcoholism. She's supposedly trying to get sober now, but I think there's just too much baggage now. Very selfish person. Wasn't interested in meeting my friends. Wasn't interested in having a family meal at my parents' once a week. But when it came to her family friends, we had to be there no matter what. Also caught her using drugs. I told her if things didn't change I was gone. A month later I was gone. The best decision I made. Took my ex out for a B-day meal, which I spent £150 for the both of us, another £100 for gifts. Saw Tinder on his phone and I asked about it. He said he just forgot to delete it and I was skeptical but decided to trust him cause what relationship can continue without trust, told my best mate. Not even a week later, best mate sent me screenshots that his mate sent him. My now ex on Grindr looking to meet. Was fuming. NGL. Raped me and emotionally abused me. I was immature and not ready to settle down. She was absolutely great though and I'm really happy with who she ended up with and has a great family. Actually, now that I've had a chance to reflect, most of my exes have been really great. I've been really lucky. I hope they're all doing great. Open mouth smile. Thanks for the question and making me think about it. My sanity was being tested time and again. I found that I was looking forward to spending time away from her as opposed to with her. She really liked other people's dicks, like a lot. She suggested I get therapy for undiagnosed mental health issues because I refused to see the big deal about liking and commenting on all of her Instagram thirst traps. She was 29 at the time. It was embarrassing to even be having the conversation. He beat me up, broke my fingers, my nose, fractured my eye socket. I didn't go home from the hospital. Just left my stuff at our house. Game over. Relationship over. Too late, but better than never. She was a good person but mentally unstable. I know it's a harsh thing to say, but I wanted my future children to have a good, stable, loving mother. And she wasn't it. She cheated. I've only left one ex and that was when she got lazy. Quit her job and wanted me to work 2x as much to pay for everything. Also, she gained weight to the point that I couldn't have carried her out of the house if it was on fire. She cheated. She preferred someone else's company to mine. I didn't have much of a say in the situation. Long distance. No job ambition. Didn't treat me any different from her friends, which made it really difficult for there to be any intimacy. I found myself falling into old patterns I didn't like, so it was pretty obvious that it was time to leave. She left me after my job taking too many hours. I work out of state. In reality, she met someone else a year prior to divorce while she was out of state on vacation. Once I was out, the new guy moved in. 2 days later. The last partner I left was due to abusement from her side. Half-year later I noticed some blocked contacts on my FB page and phone. I tracked back, realized what that STD meant, and why she was afraid when she told me her iCloud was hacked. Abusement and gaslighting makes you blind. Treated me like shit, flirted with other guys. Did shit I wasn't comfortable with. And decided the grass was greener with a drug addict and slept with him. After finding out and her trying to push the blame of her infidelity on me, I packed her shit up and kicked her out of my apartment. It felt like nothing I did could please her or make her feel happy. Plus, there had to be a constant stream of communication, text, calls, FaceTime, and my job is demanding of most all my brainpower. Also, she just laid there like a dead fish during sex. She wasn't in love with me, and I was with her. Knew she wasn't the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Sucked, and I still love her to death, but had to be done. Refused therapy. She called, and they gave her a list of reasons she might need therapy. She checked off the entire list, so she went. Then she said she stopped. And I asked why. She said, "Because my therapist wants me to break up with you." And I said, "Go back to therapy. Any therapist. We can break up if that's what it takes." She didn't go back. So we broke up. She had unrealistic expectations, didn't have much emotional empathy, and had expensive tastes that she expected me to pay $100 for, which probably came from her thinking that me, being significantly older, must be loaded with money, which I am not. BPD. She was way too into me. It was like she was my slave. She had zero original thoughts, just what can I do for him? I don't need a servant. Mentally unstable, inconsistent behavior, doesn't prioritizes money. Also, extremely neurotic. Used to check my WhatsApp messages and Instagram just because she suspected that I might be cheating or doing DRGS. On a workday, she took my phone and refused to give back. I was getting late, so I grabbed the phone from her hands and rushed to office. That was the end of our relationship. They cheated on me with a coworker who was weird and nothing to worry about. Absolute BS. Protect your hearts, my fellow Redditors. If it walks like a red flag, and talks like a red flag, then it's probably a red FC King flag. Anger issues, hoarding problem, chronic unemployment, underemployment, financial irresponsibility. The communication was abysmal. Seriously. The sex was great. Thumbs up. Communication? Atrocious. She got crazy. Started off great, but I'd discovered that the life and soul of the party was just a bad drunk. And a very insecure and possessive one. We'd have arguments over the fact, things like me talking to female work colleagues. And then go days without speaking to each other. Got tired of having to apologize when I'd done nothing wrong. No emotional connection, no sexual connection. I had stayed with her so I could counter the negative stuff our kids saw from their mom and her family. There was absolutely zero respect between us. After years of sticking it out for the kids, their mom started to pit them against me, taking their side in disagreements, constantly making me into the bad guy. Like, only here for them, and now you're trying to drive a wedge between me and them? Fuck that, so I left. It took a few months, but my oldest saw her for what she was. It all worked out in the end. Met the woman who would end up being my wife. She told me that she thought our relationship was effectively dead for the last month, but still didn't want to talk about it. I finally realized what kind of a manipulative, narcissistic person she is. I felt bad for her beforehand and didn't want to leave. Even when I broke up the first time, her friends contacted me to not break up. I was an idiot. She cheated on me with my own cousin. I was in love with my friend. The destruction and deception produced by severe alcoholism. She wanted to rush me into marriage. She did not want to hear anything else other than rushing into marriage. I felt we still needed the relationship to develop more. I know I could have changed some things on my end as well. But by her rushing me into marriage, it made me feel trapped, or that I was being used for legal marriage protections such as a green card.